Alright, just getting
Each
ready
bracket
here.
consists of two parts, which are glued together to hold the cooling block in place.
Cool together. Cooling bracket. Mount.
I also had to include a spacer to lift the cooling block a bit higher off the CPU,
Cooling
so that it
block.
clears the surrounding components. Otherwise I'd have to remove the display connector from all 8 Raspberry Pis.
Remove display connector. We wouldn't want to do that.
The cooling block mounts onto the Pi by securing the Pi between some red standoffs which will screw into the base, and some nylon
Alright,
standoffs for the
getting
cooling block to screw
YouTube
into.
going here, guys.
The bracket picks up on the holes in the standoffs and clamps the cooling block down onto the Pi CPU.
Ooh, clamp. Yeah. Gotta clamp those cooling brackets. You know,
I then repeated this 7 more times for the other Pis.
other pies.
The traditional way to build a Pi cluster is to place standoffs on each Pi and then mount them on top of each other to form a stack.
Mount
This is the
on a
easiest and most
stack.
compact way to assemble them, but doesn't really work that well with my cooling block bracket and isn't all that eye-catching.
Not very
This got me thinking of a
eye-catching.
way to better lay out the cluster so that the cooling water circuit was clearly visible and the cluster was both functional and eye-catching.
Visible circuit
Even better would be if it could be mounted onto a wall.
on the
I played around with a
wall,
couple of layout
mounted.
options,
That's
considering the
hot.
placement of the components to minimize cable and tube lengths, and trying to
Minimize
maintain some symmetry
cables.
to keep it looking neat. I settled for having 4 Pis on each side of the radiator, keeping the large fan as the focal point of the design.
Focal
I'll be
point.
connecting the Pis to
of
the
the
switch using some red
design.
patch leads. And I bought a high power USB charging hub and
High
some short
power.
USB-C cables to power the Pis.
Power the pies. Power them good. All right. We're all set up. Ooh, I sound a little sneaky. Set up. There we go. That sounds more like how I sound in real life. Okay. We're all set up. Yeah, that sounds like me. Sounds like I'm whispering in your ear. Okay, I got some changes on the audio side. I feel a little bit of a reverb, so I'm not sure if that's coming through on the stream. Let's find out really quick. Let's find out really quick. That's a no. So I'm getting a little bit of an echo. Not quite sure why, but it's good. I can hear myself now when I talk against a microphone, and so I'll know when I'm getting too far away from it, which is good. That's good. Okay. Just gotta let some other people know I'm streaming, and then we're gonna get going. Everybody, rock the party. Something about music. Let's see. Open up Ripcord. Connect to Discord. And I'm live. Hey, hey, hey. I'm live. Hey, hey, hey. I am live. Okay. I'm going to try tweeting out. I don't use the Twitter anymore, but perhaps. So how do I put this? Do 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 do. Doing something again. All right. So the plan today is to make a video game. We're going to go ahead and snap a center option, move to transform. So this is something I thought of yesterday. Actually, today, this morning, when I was waking up, I was awakened with a rapping at the door. Yo, yo. So I don't think we need to pass the transform here. So we reset the transform if there's a collision. Ooh. That stops a jittering effect. Transform 2D. We never use this. Of course we don't. Oh no, that's because when we did a comparison for the move and collide. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna say we're gonna have a preset variable here, snap center, snap to center, default false. Okay, and that's how we're doing transform equals transform 2D reset transform. Okay, so that's making sense. I believe, though, give a little bit of your tacos to me. Dun 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 dun. Give a little bit of your tacos to me. So if snap to center and we're at cell center, then we do some magic the gathering right here. Magic the gathering. And we are going to set the origin of the transform So I think this will allow me to actually reduce a pretty significant amount of residual code, as it were. Mainly this bugger. And that'll be pretty significant across the board. And then I can get rid of this as well, I believe, if we can figure this out properly. Let's just follow. So we really never use this, do we? We are. So we're going to say reset transform transform. We're going to get rid of transform 2D. We're going to say new transform equals transform with the crossing position for the snap. Okay. If we're doing snap to center. New transform. But we don't use new transform. If collision, then we reset the transform. Snap to center. What are we saying here? We're going to actually set the origin. We don't need to do a new transform. We're going to set the origin of our transform to the crossing position. I think. And then if there is a collision, then we reset to our prior transform. I think this is it. Snap to center. Okay, so if we go back over here, we're going to have to rewrite all these mother effers. We don't need this anymore. on anything, then we go and we say, in this case, we would want to say true on true. Okay, so then we don't need this one. And why is it mad? Because move and collide from transform. How do we make this a optional? Because I'm setting the value. I thought that would be enough. Too few arguments. Expect at least 3. But I'm... Let's see. Do. Function. How do we say optional? That's strange. New transform, we don't need this. So we get rid of it. Okay, moving on. Once again, we don't need to pass the transform. Okay. See, why is this one fine and this one's mad? It's just got to be bugging. So same thing here. We don't need to do that. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of this. We can say true here. And if this works, have how much? It's pretty decent. It's weird. I keep making it more legible, but somehow the lines of code is increasing. I don't quite follow that, but so I guess that's what happens sometimes. Okay, let's see what happens here. We're mad right away. Invalid operands. Vector 2 and transform 2D and operator multiply. New position equals delta times direction. What's the problem? Vector 2. Something is calling this. Which is a transform. So I missed one. Let's see. So this guy. Boom, 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 boom. It's another transform. Where are you coming from, boy? Where are you coming from? Mod direction, player input. Mod direction did collide. Is this firing anywhere? Am I using this anywhere? Is this real life? Function mod direction did collide. I'm not using this. Bye. Brutal. Flawless. Okay. Seriously. Let's set here's what we're gonna do. Cause something's still firing on it with the old ways. The old ways. So we need to just walk through this. Move last direction. There it is. Dun, 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 boom, boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, wow, wow, wow. And there's our breakpoint. Okay. So we're still golden. All right. That fixes it. What do you know, man? That's a good reduction in code there. Okay, so we refactored here. We added an optional snap to center. So if we're on cell center, we set the origin point to the crossing position so that when we attempt to go in that direction, or we can ask it to basically say, hey, if we're on center, just like try to move directly from the center, because between frames you could be slightly off, like you wouldn't be quite on center, and it depends on a lot of factors. And look at that, we got some chonkiness gone, so we're down to 25 lines. Yeah, so it's looking nice now, something to be proud of. So that's our first thing done today. We're done with that. I'm going to commit this code here in a second. So added optional removed need to pass. Okay. So that's done. Let's push that out, and we're gonna pull just in case there are any changes. Okay, Godot didn't see anything. So that's looking good. Put a little mat on there, and that was programming. Okay. Can I zoom? Give a little bit. Give a little bit of your zoom to me. Da-dun, da-dun, dun. Ba-da-ba-da-boom, boom. Ba-dum, ba-dum, dum. Give a little bit. Give a little bit of your zoom to me. Ba-da-ba-da-boom, ba-doo. Ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. The other nice thing about being able to hear myself in here is that if I'm making mouth noises, I don't like mouth noises. And so if I'm like sipping on something, or I don't know, I'll be able to. Oh, you didn't even hear it. I was saying I'll mute it. That's what I was saying. Send messages to player and other obstacles. So now we're going to start making some obstacles. Yeah. Well, maybe not. You thought we were going to do it? It ain't happening yet, I don't think. Every time I sit down and I think I'm going to make it happen, I start thinking about how it needs to happen. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. We need to have... It won't... it might be in the inspector, actually. Yeah, so in here... We're going to populate a variable. And it's going to list all of the available tile IDs. So first things first, we have this set as a tool. So we can expose variables out. Now, on ready, we're going to set... what do we want to call it? Tile IDs. And let's we're going to look up tile map. And we're just going to see get used cells. No, we want to check on the tile set. And we're going to say tile get shape, shapes, texture. Get tiles IDs is an array. So okay, so I think that now if I close out, don't save, sure. Now we go back to the scene, it'll reload the code, and we go to ground entities. How do we export on ready? How do you do export? Exporting variables. Export right on the top. Do I do on ready after? What's the... Is it going to be mad? I don't see it. It seems pissed. Seems mad at me. How about we just do this, and then we just set it to poop. Okay. There it is. There's our array. So we'll do on ready export, maybe, perhaps, mayhaps. Export on ready export. What was that? No, it doesn't like that. No, it doesn't like that either. Well, maybe we'll just trust that it'll know right away. Nope. How do we set this thing to be a list of the tile IDs? OnReady var. See, this guy knows what's what. OnReady export. No. OnReady var. This should be good. How about we just ready, and we'll just print this out into the ether. There's our list. Okay, well, let's get rid of onReady. We'll call it dictionary. Okay, and then we're gonna say onReady for cell ID, or is it that's redundant. We'll call it tiles. And then we'll say tiles, tile ID equals null. Okay. You gonna be happy about that, or are you gonna be pissed? No, you're happy. Huh. Okay. So what happens if I set you? If I go like this. I wonder why set tiles is being called. Oh, the getter and the setter. So how do we keep that? Like if I go out of here, I save, reopen. This is going to flush out every time. So then let's just work on a presumption that there are values in this. So for instance, since it's a dictionary, I believe there's some custom shenanigans that we can do. So we're going to say has. Yeah. So if, and we're going to say if it doesn't have, then we set it to null. And now, in theory, if I set 1 here, save it, close it, reopen. Yes. Uncheck, save, close, reopen. Okay, so that's what we want. So what we're going to want to do too is we're going to get their names or something. But what we need to make sure now is that how do we make it so that this becomes how do we make it so that it is something like this, that we can like browse to a location, right? So like this. How do we do this? Let's look at the editor stuff. So we're getting there. So the reason why I'm doing this is because as we add in the tile set different, we're going to call them objects, then we need to be able to go here and associate a script that's going to be responsible for when the object is instanced, which is what this is right here. We also probably need to be able to give them names like pressure plate and these ones, the constants that I have here. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not, but we can give it a shot, right? Now, let's go back to where we were. Tile set, no. GDScript exports. So, path to file. Export. String is path to file. Strings as paths. File. So, can I... Does that work? String is path to file. How do we do it to like sub resources? Let's try. I mean, it's not mad about this, so we'll try it. Okay. But how do I do multiple? It must be noted that even if the script is not being run while in the editor, the exported properties are still available. This can be used in conjunction with a script in tool mode. Exporting arrays. Array of inits. Array of packed scenes. Okay, so we can do it with an array. What about dictionaries? So can you do array string file like this, and then just do like that, and then is empty. Oh, and it's because we're treating it as, so we need to go back to, we're setting it. So let's go array. Can I duplicate? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go array. And has value. So we go array has this, and if it does, then we don't do anything. If it doesn't have, then we say append. So we'll go and append the value like so, and we'll just say null. Now, can I do something like this? Misplaced built-in type. So, okay, so see what happens here when we open. Okay. And it disappears again. Why does it disappear? Well, I mean, this is an array. So why don't we just set tiles equals this for now, just as a test. And then we open it. And there's an array size of 6. And okay, kind of what we want. Array events. Exported arrays can specify a type using the same hints as before. Array of files. Expected a constant. Dictionary. What don't you like? Dictionary can't take hints. Tell me about it. Excuse me. Typed arrays also work only initialized empty. Hmm. Hmm. So they need to be strings. So an array of strings. So for tile ID in get tile IDs, then we say on an array, can we do tiles resize tile size. So if tile size does not equal count of these, is it count? No, count is some sort of number times an element, is in an array, in the array size. So let's call this a variable now because we're using it more than once. Var tile set IDs equals this, and then we'll go like that and like that. If tiles size does not equal tile set ID's size, then we say tiles resize to be the size of this. I guess we could fire that every time. And if it happens to be different, then it'll... If the array size is smaller, elements are cleared. If bigger, then... So we don't need to do the check even. So we can just say resize. And if it happens to be the same, nothing's going to happen to the... and we don't need to do this at the... We just do it right here. Okay, so now we got the tile size the size we want it. And we need to set has returns true if the array contains the given value. We don't want that. We want find. No. Can I get... I want to pull a specific one. Can I? Position. There's remove. Insert. Clear. Let's see what we got. We'll print out the tile IDs for each one. Let's open it up. And what do we get? Nothing. So if we go here. So how do we do this? Where we want a file. Fuki. Taking a lot of notes today. String get file. If the string is a valid file path, returns the file name. How's it going with the... Well, I mean, what do you think of it so far? I'm curious. I don't know how, like, how long of an experience you've had with, not Unreal. What are you doing? Unity. How much experience have you had with Unity? And I guess comparing, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what you think so far. Miska. Is it Misaki? Misaki Mix? Sorry. Well, yeah, so I guess I should explain what I'm doing because I'm just sort of going. I'm not really explaining. What I'm trying to do, well, you might have already heard me, but so we've got, this is a tile map, right? So we've got a tile map. Inside the tile map, we have a tile set, and these are all the tiles inside that tile set. They all have an ID. What I want to do is get an array that we can then populate, essentially browse and set what they instantiate with by doing this kind of thing, but in here where we can browse and find the script that we want to use. The reason why I'm doing this is because we're going to be building these out in scale. There's going to be a lot of them. We already can do this part. So what's going on is when the game starts and runs, these set tiles are actually, we make the tile map invisible, and then we instantiate sprites with the exact same rotation and positioning coordinates as the tile map. The reason why we're doing that is because we're using something called array 2D to detect overlaps, not collisions, but just when the thing overlaps. And then that's when we can fire certain effects or things to have happen. So all that code's already in place and working. We've tested it and we know it works. So now we're just trying to get it to where we can build out and scale a lot more easily. So I'm kind of banging my head against the wall, and this might be like 2 hours of work where I don't come away with much, but I learn a lot. I'm trying to get it to where when you set it as a tool, when you set a script to a tool, you can do export on values. And then when you do that, they show up as script variables here inside the editor. So since I have this script is this one here. It extends a tile map. It's a tool. And then we can do these exports. Also, when you make it a tool, that means that anything that you have that fires when you run the game, fires when you're in this view here. So eventually what we'll be able to do then is we'll be able to like say we have a switch that you land on and we put it down here. This is all programmer art. None of it's permanent. And then we can like connect that to maybe one of these tiles here to turn them on and off. And then we can know that we're inside the editor here and draw a line straight to it so that we know where it's connected to. So stuff like that. That's the kind of thing I want to be able to enable. So when we're in the puzzle editor, I guess you could say, we can change those things. So that's what's been going on. Well, we know the value. So that's what I'm doing presently. Like right here. So the way that I'm doing it right now, if I get rid of all that code and everything that I'm trying to do, I have this enumerator, and I'm manually assigning them the values of the IDs that we want to use. So for instance, conveyor is 4. And then we say, we have a constant called conveyor. We preload. That's the scene. Oh, it's not a scene, but it's essentially the code for that thing, right? Then at the start of the tile map, we go for every cell that exists. We run this update cell object. We get the cell, and then we get the cell ID, and then based off the ID, we match to this enumerator here that we've got set. And then we go and we basically create a new instance of that pressure plate here, which is loading this script. And then that's what we instantiate on. Then we set its name to be the vector coordinates so we can easily refer to it in other code. And then we add it as a child to ourselves. So it's inside, well, it's on the parent child. So in the scene tree, when the game runs, like if I was to run this right now, I could show you. Let me run this. Did I piss it off? Let me run it from here. I pissed it off. Hang on. Let me back up. Maybe I got. Gravy. This is a lot of code that I've just been messing with. No. So you can. Okay, so this is the default. Can we run now? Ooh, I got it mad. What did I do? Let's see. I'm going to undo. I'm going to discard the changes I did to both scenes because it's possible that something. Okay, so that's the old one. Now will it run? Uh-oh. What's going on? Let's see. Discard. All right. Okay, so we're officially back to the old way. It's bombing out on me. What's the debugger complaining about? Errors. Failed to load the scene. Well, that's a bad one. Failed loading resource. What is it mad about? Download. That's the... That's expected too. Oh man, I gotta block somebody. Ban. And can I delete it from here? Block. Okay, so that'll never happen again from that guy. Let's close out. Let's quit Godot. Maybe I... Now I'm not getting a response to that. Here we go. Has broken dependencies. Oh, okay. Okay. We can fix that. It's because I deleted something. I didn't do it inside Godot and I deleted it. It's pissed at me. That's fine. Okay, so we'll resave it. Now, okay, so that one's gone. The cricket is gone. Retry. Now let's see if it's mad at me anymore. No. Okay. Yeah, so let me go back to what we were doing. Now that we got that figured out. So I know this might not make a lot of sense what I'm doing. Oops. Like at first glance, because what we're doing is kind of not normal, I guess you could say. Like, so let me I'm going to draw this maze out the way I had it. I had this here. We had this coming out here. Clear that out. It was 2, and then this one was 3. And then we came out across like this. Okay. Yeah, so we had a conveyor that was going down this way. But see, this is what I want to be able to do when we're editing the level, is just be able to pop these things out just like this, right? And then be able to change some attributes about them in the editor instead of having to do it in code for every single level. Because this scene here is going to be our default scene. It's going to be cleared out. It's just going to have the player in a position, and then we can move them. And then from that, we'll just duplicate the scene and then build a stage and have all the logic carry over from one to the other, but be able to assign specific attributes to the things that we lay down on that specific stage, depending on the obstacle type and other factors. Anyways, what I was trying to show was... yeah, so these apply, they're applying behavior to the player right now, and I can move out of these. I've got a breakpoint set on that one, so that's why we got out of there. But yeah, so this conveyor 4 is this guy here. And then when we match that ID, we go here, we create a new instance of it. The scene tree, that's what I was going to try to show you. So when the game is running, they're instanced and they're placed underneath here, under the ground entities node. I don't know what to I don't know what to call it. But yeah, so in here, and then they are given the name of their vector coordinates, so then I can refer to them easily elsewhere. So they're literally the vector 2 cells of the of the set tiles. So it's really handy. Once I figured out I could do that, then I could really handily refer to them, because I can ask the tile map at any point, hey, what are your set tiles? And then I'm basically getting this same list here, but I can know certain things about them. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. If not, maybe I'm a lunatic. But the whole reason why we're doing it that way is so that when we're making the levels, I'm going to have this tile map object editor, and then we'll be able to see a list of all the set tiles, click on them, and then assign certain behaviors to each of the tiles. Right? No, you expose it. In Godot, it's all in the code, and then you can expose the specific variables that you want to allow to be set. In GDScript, so by doing that as well, there would become I guess you could say in the script they're global inside the script, but they're not. There's no global variables in Godot. So to get behavior like that, you would need to create a singleton or something to that effect. And I have done that. Like, I'm starting to learn a lot about certain things with it. For instance, let's see. I want to show you everything now because I've been working on a bunch of stuff. I don't know how long you've been watching. Yeah. Use the export keyword to do it. But you can do like references, and these are things. These are essentially class names. They're classes that you can call, and they can perform simple functions, but they cannot. You cannot change values with them. And that sounds incredibly limited, but in the case of, like, if I want an effect and I want to, start to produce enumerators off of it so I can easily refer to it in code, I've got this what's called a reference. And now anywhere I can go effect dot, and then what do we got for effect? Direction, right? So if I do that, I'm calling this enumerated value. So there's certain things like that where you can kind of get around the concept of globals. And then the only singleton I have is this entity, and where is it? Here we go. And this essentially is what I'm using for these things that that can cause effects to the player or other enemies and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let me go back to what I was trying to do. So I think I'm going to have to, like, bypass some of this, because what I'm trying to do, I don't know that it is even possible, which is to let's stop this script. So yeah, and so the other thing about Godot is everything is at what they call a node. It's all based in object-oriented concepts. Everything is a node. Each of these, the scene, what they call a scene, is comprised of many nodes, or can be. And then you can, like, this is an instantiation in the scene of the player, and this is a scene. These are all individual nodes. You can see the inheritance here. It also implies the draw order, so that the first thing is drawn, second one is on that, and so on, so that you see it by order of the draw. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, well, yeah. If you put in GDScript, if you put a variable up here and not inside a function, then it's going to be public. Yes. And so there's a lot of like, no, I'd love to, but I'm not happy with computing right now. I'm not happy with what Apple's doing, and I'm not happy with computers in general. I think the M1 processors are really cool, and like all that's really, really like I'm kind of happy that Apple's doing their own silicone again. But I'm not a fan of the direction. I actually rolled back my Mac OS to I'm running Mojave now. My computer could more than handle. I've got an i7. This is a 2012 iMac that I'm on. So I mean I could run the latest Mac OS, but they're starting to do things that are regressive. Yeah. No, I can't stand it, dude. I upgraded and suddenly I couldn't run like half the stuff that I use. And as much as I love that silicone, like it's tied to the latest OS 10. Or they don't even call it OS anymore, right? They call it Mac OS. OS X, but yeah. Yeah, no, they're, see, so I've been Linux for a long time, like since the 90s. And then, once I found out that like, it was Snow Leopard with the Macs that came out during Snow Leopard, it was like 2007. And, once I realized that they have a Unix core, and I don't know what's going on with my audio right now. Once I found out they had a Unix core and everything, and then I started learning about OS X, I was like, oh, this is really nice. Because I like having the terminal and all that stuff and having like a clean OS. But I've just like over time just watched it slowly get worse. And it's the same for all OSs right now, personally. Well, yeah. I feel like Windows has its own things, its own baggage. They all do. What is it, Manjaro? That's like if I build my own box, then Manjaro is probably what I'll end up running on it. Misaka Mix, if you can get an int variable or set of Boolean variables to be accessible in the inspector, you can very easily just make the accessible variables to control whether certain things are run straight from the editor. Right. But here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to expose a variable for the tile map that I can then have it be, I want to be able to do this, right? So for every one of these, right now there's 5. I want to be able to browse for a specific script for that specific tile to run. But I guess I'm just for now, I'll have to be satisfied. Well, so the editor I'm using is VS Code. It's connecting to Godot. So like when I go to open a script, it goes over here and opens it in VS Code. And then I can debug in here when I'm running, so I can set breakpoints and stuff like that inside VS Code. So I'm not actually doing my programming side in Godot anymore. Because there were certain things about the Godot, the built-in editor I just didn't like. You can see I'm a kind of a weirdo, I guess. So what I was saying though is like, yes, I agree. So I want to be able to do something like this where for each of these represented it in an array or whatever here, I want to be able to do like where you can load a path. But you know what? F it. Because, you know, this is one of those things where I'm just being stubborn. So we've got most of what we need, right? So let's do the export, and then we're going to say var tiles equals, and it'll be our dictionary, okay? And then I'll just do what I was doing, because oops. So we'll say tile set get tiles IDs, and we'll say var tiles IDs. And then what's it mad about? Tile set. We're in a tile map. What am I doing wrong? Yeah, so we got most of it. If I just do a string, then I can just copy and paste the resource location. So I'll do that for now. Oh, it's underscore. Okay. So there's that, and then we'll do for tiles tile ID in tiles IDs, and then we'll say if does not tile ID has tiles, if tiles does not has cheeseburger. So for if tile ID does not have tiles, so then we'll say tiles ID equals string, and we'll just give it an empty string, right? Okay, so this should work. Let's go back. There's our dictionary, and they're all strings. So can I strict it? Is there a way? Because why is it letting me? See, but this is what I'm talking about. Right here, I want this to be my browser, to just browse for the file. This is exactly what I want, but I don't know how to specify to tell the editor, hey, make this a browsable, like this to be the load thing, like you would see here, where you can go load and then browse around. You can do it on an individual, like if we look at the documentation here, we can do it on an individual string. Like if I did this and put it in here and called this file something, then if we go and we reload here and go to our tile map, we have down here files somethings, and then you can browse, right? So I want this damn folder icon to show up for these sub things in the dictionary. I'm just not sure how to make that happen. Like it says here, can I just do this? Can I do string? Can I do something like file in here? No, it doesn't like that. String dot file? Is there... Let me... String... There it is. Yeah. See, I just don't even know that it's possible, because I'm out in the I'm kind of near the edge of what the built-in editor does. And so like I could write my very own. You can write your own these things in the editor. I don't know what to call them, but I do know that you can create your own. So I might be able to like custom it, but I don't want to go that far. So if we have the so like now I could rename, now if I go, okay, so sorry, let me get back to what I was thinking. So if we go to the tile set now, we've got all these obstacles, right? So now I can go here and I should be able to give it a name, right? So if I select our region and we go to selected tile. There's our name. So we could call this conveyor. If I can spell. I don't remember how to spell conveyor. Oh yeah, conveyor. Okay. So there's the name. Let's save it. Now if we go back, it says conveyor, right? So now instead of having the tile ID numbers, I can go here and I can say so I could go to the tile map and ask, or the tile set, and ask it for the name of the ID. Get tile IDs. Find tile by name. Let's just search name and see what we get. Tile get name. Okay, so here we go. So we do for each, and then we say, and we say tile set dot tile get name, and we give it the ID, and let's call it tile name. Okay. What is it mad about? Identifier tile set. Oh, it's underscore. Okay, so there we go. So now we're going by name. See, I don't know what it's going to do now that these exist, though. So we'll see. Let's close it out and reopen and see what we get. Error. That's not right. Oh, we're still doing tile ID. We need to do tile name. Okay, so we'll go back. Here we go. So there's conveyor. And then the rest have these. I haven't set the names for these ones. So this is what we want, right? So now I have conveyor. And then I can go here, and I'm just going to copy the directory, right? But the other way to do that would have been to, I could simply go to where the script is. So right now I have them under stage editor and then ground entities, and I could have copied the path and then just pasted it in there. So, I mean, this gets us there. I would just like the beautiful like browsing thing, but this is the equivalent of what I want. So that's fine. I'll take it. And then, you know, so now we can give these all names. So let's give them some names of some of the things that I want to make. So like if we go in here, this is actually more than one. And there is like pressure plate was one of them. And then like a warp was one. And then, I don't know, button or switch. And then like, like, I don't know, something bad. We'll call it something bad. Okay. And we're gonna close this out and reopen. Oh, I didn't know you could do. And I don't know why I'm not hearing you guys. So I need to figure that out. I think it's... Oh, this is the other thing I can't stand about Macs right now is the way that you have to do all the audio. It's awful. Okay, so actually I need to go into sound and... Where do we play sound effects on? Here we go. What am I outputting to? USB headset. Yeah, so I'm actually cheating, and now I should hear the pops. Yeah. Yeah, actually, if I'm not in there right now, but let me get in there. If you want to chat, we can. Let me join. Okay, I'm in there. Yeah. That's just an idea I had. I haven't had anyone abuse it yet. So... Yeah, if you want to join the Discord, you can talk to me right now. Okay, so the one thing you're going to want to do is mute the stream. It's just like live radio. There'll be an echo if you try to talk to me and I'm in the background. So it'll also be like time travel. You'll be hearing what I'm saying before it happens on stream. Yeah. Okay, so how do I get rid of... I guess I need to kind of intentionally flush this out. This is just weird how it kind of works. So what we'll do is we'll just intentionally set it tiles to null. So we'll just do an empty array on purpose to like flush it, or an empty dictionary. And I think that'll... There we go. So now we flushed it out. Okay. So now we've got all these names here, and then there's corresponding things here. Cool. And then what we'll do is we'll say, so then for conveyor, we'll copy the path. This is exactly what I want. So, and the other reason why this is good is because then I can also, hey, how's it going? I can also, when we're prototyping like new code for something, we can swap this out for something else. So like if we decide that we kind of want to change the behavior or something, but we're not entirely sure on it yet, we can do it on a per stage level. Like yeah, anyways. I hear somebody else. Okay. So now we need to start writing out. So we've got like a pressure plate here. And so we can rip this out now. We don't need this. And in theory, we don't need this either. And now we can start to reformulate. I'm going to leave him here just temporarily. We can start to rewrite the code here where we're instantiating each object onto the board. So pressure plate was this one. Okay. So let me go back here and save this. Okay. So in this case, we're going to go tiles and then if we have cells, we get the cell ID, and then we're doing a match on each. So we would go instead match cell ID. Instead of that, let's see what we look like. So let's print out. I'll debug it. So let's run the game. Oh, it's not going to show up because it's not. It's so let's print. I want to show the in-game debugger because that's something I wrote that's custom. That's mine. But I made it so that we can. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Conveyor. So it's by name. Okay. So we don't want to get cell ID. We need to get cell ID. We need to get the cell name. So we have to go tile. So we'll just do this. We got to get the tile name. Tile name. And cell ID. Get cell V. Let me just double check to make sure that's what I'm expecting it to be. Get LV. Returns the tile index. Okay, that's right. So tile set, get tile name. And then we'll match on that. And now we can use our tiles variable. And we can go and say if we don't even need to do match now. We go tiles has, is it has for tiles has tile name. So if tiles has tile name, then we go, so let me just double check dictionary. I do program a little weird, I'll admit it. I'm like, I'm using their online, I actually have my, I downloaded their Git repo for their documentation and built my own local copy so I could search it faster because it was so slow using their website. Because you can, like, Godot actually has really good built-in help where if you're using the inline like editor and you can like really easily look up things. Like for instance, this is actually revealing the hierarchy of each of the elements. So tile map inherits node 2D, which inherits the canvas item, which inherits node. So that gives you an idea of the inheritance. And then you can actually go and there's a way to like shift click or something to bring up the docs. I can't remember. But you can also hover over these things here. It'll tell you a bit more about them. But there's a way to like look up their docs just in here. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah. So if you're using the built-in editor, you can access their documentation pretty quick. Control click. That's right. Yeah, it might be busted for me because of what I'm doing with the editor though. But anyways, I mean, I can still kind of do that here by just hovering with, cause the thing that I'm using in VS Code is called, it's an extension called, Godot tools. You got to do a little bit of setup to get it going. But I like it. And then just to keep the color scheme the same, there's a Godot theme that somebody made for syntax highlighting. Anyways, what I was doing was we were going to check if is it has? Yeah. So if tiles has tile name, just to be sure, then we go and we do all this so we can get rid of this. And we're gonna hey.
I think I want you to go a little bit more because I think I want you to play with me.
You want me to play with you? Mm-hmm. Okay. You need to clean. You got some chocolate ice cream all on your face.
Papa's busy right now.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't quite understand what I was doing at the end here. I don't know why I'm returning anything. Huh. Okay, so object, and this is where we need to, so we've got to somehow preload all this stuff here at the beginning on ready. Misaki, have you been in my stream before? Or no? Oh, is that you? I hear something. I don't know if you can hear it on the stream. It's like... The Last of Us clicker. It does sound like a Last of Us clicker. It might be that if you have multiple microphones, like it might be using the wrong microphone. Let's see. So tile has tile name, object. So we need to... So preloading is when you load a packed scene ahead of time to speed up like instantiation and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another dictionary and call it tile preload, and we're gonna take each tile name that we're putting inside tiles, and then we're gonna actually just preload the script for it. So we'll go oh, I forgot the equals. So we're gonna say if, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I need to be able to down here I need to be able to do the equivalent of this on something, but I don't have that thing yet because this was doing it the old way where I was using the enumerators and these constants. So for tile in tiles, we then do kind of the same thing we were doing here. And actually it's kind of redundant. Like I think I could do it in both. In this step, I could do both. Because this is happening on ready. So we would go... I don't think so. Because then I can still see everything that's happening in here. But we can go... if... So we'll just do... actually, this is pretty straightforward. It'll be tile preload. And then we're going to say tile name. And then we're going to say equals preload. And then we're going to say the name, we're going to grab the value of the tile name, which is what we're using. So it would be tiles preload, tiles, tile name. I think this is it. And just to be sure, we need to set the var ahead of time up here. And Let's save this. What is it mad about? Expected a string constant as a preload argument. Okay, so it doesn't know what type it is, so we'll just encapsulate it in string so that it believes us. Be like, no, I promise you. Trust me. Expected string. I'm giving you a string now. Expected string as preload. It's right there. I don't know what to tell you, man. Okay, well, let me just... This is... See, the problem is now I can't really run this because it's going to bomb out on me. But let me do a break on this. And we'll run it. And... Okay, so it's still mad even in engine. Okay. So... Tiles Morales. It's a string. I mean, you got to trust me on this. I'm setting it right here. Let's see. No. Maybe if I... This is stupid, but what if I just did... Okay, what... Okay, hang on. I'm going to specify the type of this variable. Then we're going to assign it this. Now, is it happy? Expected string is preload. Oh, I know why. We have to treat it like a node. So we have to use, we got to do get node path. But it's not a node. We have to load it as a resource. Okay, let's go. Let's look at resource real quick. Resource is the base class for all Godot specific resource types, serving primarily as data containers. Unlike objects, they are referenced, counted, and freed when no longer in use. How do I load a resource? Preload. They're doing it by... I don't understand. Why? I mean, this should work. Like, okay. How about, just for fun, let's just print this out. Right? Okay. And I'm going to do that, and we'll do a break right afterwards, just to see what it shows. Nothing. Okay. It's empty. So we have to, I'm an idiot. We have to do a check. So we'll do it, you know what? Here's the funny thing. We'll do it right after, we'll do it on an else. So, because we got this if, and it's saying if, well, you know what? Even better. We're going to flip it so that it's a little more readable. So else, we'll do this. So we're going to, if it has the tile name, then we're going to do the preload. And if it doesn't, then we set it with a blank string. Jesus. Dinner's ready? Oh, okay. I'll be right there, okay, sweetie?
You'll have to clear off the table and plate.
Okay, I'll be right there.
All right, come on, Jim. I need your help.
Sorry, it sounds like WW2 out there because we live near an area where Biden's doing some war games. So it sounds like the end of times sometimes.
Okay, he's listening.
Yes? Yes. Your bank?
Bike.
Your bike. Okay.
All right, come on.
Okay, I'll be right there, sweetie. I gotta end up. Okay, so let's do. I'm gonna do a break on this. So if it has the tile name, expected string constant as preload. The fudge. Okay, let's print. What does it see it as right now? Just to make sure. Because maybe it's being totally straightforward with us and we're the ones being dodo heads. It's empty. So, okay, so I think I get it. So let me put this back this way. I gotta finish this up before I take off. We need to do a type check. So what we'll do is we'll say for this current, if it equals string, then, oh no, I lost my little code. There we go. Okay, so put that back in there. I forget how you do a type check. If equals string and so if what is it mad about? Oh, missing. Misplaced built-in type. How do you do type check? Type check. Is. That's the keyword. So if is, there we go. Now, it's still going to be mad if it's null. Yeah, because it's empty. So we still need to check, because it knows you can sign a type without having a value. So I guess if and it's a string. Let's see if that does it. God damn it. I'm going to figure this out. This is pissing me off. Okay, let's just do... Okay. You know what? Maybe I didn't save... I didn't save! Oh my gosh. That's what it was. I assigned them and I didn't save them. What? Now it's... I gotta go. Dinner's ready. Bummer. Oh, I broke something. Export. All right. I'm gonna take off. Anyways, I'm gonna continue this tomorrow and yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed with myself, but I do sometimes do that where, you know, you go down a rabbit hole and you just don't make any progress on something. But I learned, you know, it's always, you're just learning. So we got these names in here. That's nice. And the tile set's going to have, I'm not quite sure why suddenly it's mad about this. So let me just set it back to null and then we'll come back in again and see if it's okay. Okay, so I flushed it out. And I want to make sure this is firing. It's not. this isn't firing anymore. Are we? Yeah, something. All of a sudden, now the breakpoints aren't firing anymore. Sometimes this can happen when the editor quits. Reopen. Well, I gotta go. Unfortunately, let's reconnect the editor. God, that's weird. I'm just whipping back and forth right now. I mean, let's just do a test. We'll do export var poop. Okay. And we'll say it's a string. So this should be in the... Don't save. Yeah, save and close. Why was it asking to save? What the? Tolomite's the artist. He's the guy I'm working with to make the graphics and stuff. Man, I got a lot of guys here. Felipe, you're new, I believe. Define null, you're new. Thanks for visiting. Misaki, it's nice having you here. I think that's who's in the in Discord, but the audio's not working for you, it sounds like. Or it wasn't. Yeah. Well, maybe next time. Yeah. I'll be here tomorrow. I don't stream for very long. I only stream for about 2 hours max. So definitely nice seeing you guys. I really appreciate everybody hanging out. And yeah, so we got the Discord going, and it's for people who are trying to learn game dev or do game development. So you can join there. And it's a small group of people, but we're trying to keep it like people who are really trying to make games and not just sort of saying they are. So this struggle's real, you know? And yeah, we're just trying to build a community. I host a few people who stream on Twitch game development. So if any of you do any game dev on Twitch, let me know and I'll auto host you. Just, you know, we're trying to keep it like, you know, chill people, and, you know, we're just trying to get things done. So if you know that, you know, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah, we're trying to build a community of people that are making games, basically. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Yeah, just say who you were in Twitch so I know. Yeah, because everybody has different names everywhere. I recently changed the name of my channel, actually. So it's nice to see you guys. Have a good night. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow or the next day or whatever. I stream pretty much roughly the same time every day. So I didn't ask everybody where they were from. Most people that watch me right now are in Asia or Europe. So curious where everybody's from, and then I'm going to take off. Thanks. I will. I'll tell everybody you said hi. Yeah. And I usually, next time I see you guys, because usually I ask like, what's your dream game like that you want to make, and like what engine are you using and stuff like that. So next time we're on, I'd like to hear that from you. Brazil. Oh, yeah. My dad used to live in Brazil. I visited there twice. He lived in Petrópolis and commuted from Petrópolis to Rio every day, if you can believe that. Silamed? I forget the name of the company he worked for when he was living there. West Coast. Nice. Yeah, I used to live in California, the Central Coast. Recently left. Lived there my whole life. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Northeast. Okay. Yeah, the most I saw, Buzios, or and then what's the city? Sao Paulo, and but I mainly was in Petropolis when I was visiting. Yeah, really nice people. Definitely. Yeah, it's interesting. There's definitely yeah. But that was a long time ago. I was pretty young. I was 18. I went the first time I went. I was like 12. So when I didn't really appreciate it in the same way when I was 12 as when I was 18. Because 12 it was just straight culture shock, and then 18 it was a little different. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night. It's nice hanging out. I appreciate everyone being so nice and struggling with me. But I will get this fixed tomorrow. So I'm fixing this loader so that it's going to use the scripts that we were pointing to. I don't know where the hell it went, so I got to figure that out. I must be flushing them out. I think I'm doing something. I don't know. But I'll be back. All right, guys. Have a good night. See ya.